What is going on, people? Welcome back to the channel. It is your boy Aaron here once again for another episode of your daily dose of crypto, guys. And look, what do we have today? We have a major market correction, guys. We have lots and lots of longs getting liquidated, and we have a 2.8% total loss in the market cap, guys. But I tell you what, I am licking my lips because we know that Altseason is around the corner, and it's given us some fantastic entries on some major coins that we're extremely bullish about on this channel.
You've got our attention.
Okay, so getting into the markets today, guys, as you can see, there's some major sell-offs here from some of the best projects in crypto. Let's be honest. We've got Ethereum at 4.2%. We got Solana at 5% discount. It's a big discount, guys, for a project of that size. But what I love about today is that if we look at the biggest loser, let's say, in today's market, in the top 100 coins, we have Hyperliquid and Kinetic Stake Hyperliquid, which is the liquid staking token of Hyperliquid. It is down 7% here on the daily, guys, and I think this is a fantastic opportunity for us to start scooping up some Hyperliquid if you haven't done that already. And if you haven't done that already, I'm quite annoyed with you, but if you should do it now, guys, because Hyperliquid has some of the best fundamentals in crypto that I have ever seen in my entire journey in this cryptocurrency. Crazy world that we're in. Okay, guys, so I've scooped some Hyperliquid here on the dip. And look, just to remind you guys, okay, 97% of all trading fees from Hyperliquid goes back into token buybacks, okay? 97%. And don't forget, I said in my previous video that as of, well, the last 30 days or so, that Hyperliquid has basically sucked up 35% of all fees on the blockchain, okay? And 97% of that is all going into trading fees. Just to give you some perspective, so it's crazy deflationary. I think that, you know, buying Hyperliquid here and of course putting it to work, guys, don't just buy it and hold it. As I suggested in a previous video, this is why you should be watching my videos. You don't want to miss out on all of these airdrops, okay?
We will comply with your requests.
So there's lots and lots of farming happening on Hyperliquid, as some of you may or may not know. And one of the projects that I already mentioned a few weeks ago, for those that missed it, was Project X, okay? So Project X is basically in farming season, has been for about a month or so now. And basically, guys, you can just put your hype in here and basically pair it with K-Hype, which means no impermanent loss in your liquidity pool. And you can just farm those sweet tokens, okay, guys? So you just head over here to liquidity. You can actually just find the Hype and K-Hype liquidity pool, and Bob's your uncle. There it is, right at the top. Of course, it has the most liquidity because it's no impermanent loss, okay? So you're not going to lose anything from putting your hype into this pool. Now, of course, there's smart contract risks that can happen at any time, guys. Hyperliquid could get hacked. But, you know, like I said, Project X is one of the most, I would say, well-respected and credible DeFi platforms out there on Hyperliquid, and they are due to do an airdrop. And as you can see here on the top right, there's a point system, okay? So if you buy some hype, you can go to Kinetic. You can actually stake your hype for K-Hype, and then you can then put 50% of your K-Hype and 50% of your hype into Project X, and Bob is your uncle. There you go. You'll start earning points. You'll start racking up the fees, okay, guys? I'm going to put my referral code in the description. You don't need to use it if you don't want to. That's perfectly fine. I'm not being paid by Project X, and I don't want to be. But with a referral code, you get 10% more points, and so do I, so why not? It's for the greater good of the world. So I'll put that in the bio, guys. That's where my hype is currently, and so I put my money where my mouth is. And like I said, if Hyperliquid continues to fall over the next coming days, I'm going to be dollar cost averaging my position, because as I've said, I've never seen really a more fundamentally sound tokenomic structure than I've seen with Hyperliquid in my 8 years in crypto.
Considering how old you are, that is saying something.
All right, guys, next up, we're talking about Coinbase Institutional, okay? So Coinbase Institutional have predicted that Altseason is starting in September. Now, this is why I'm saying, guys, I'm absolutely delighted with this dip in prices, because we are literally at the line waiting for the lights to go out to start this altcoin race, okay? If you have altcoins right now and they're in the wrong tokens, or you haven't moved them around, or you've been too busy because you've got a busy job, or you've got a girlfriend or a boyfriend who's taking all your time, please move it into the right positions. I've even had some coins just recently in positions that I didn't want them to be, and now I'm just moving them out and I'm putting them into this season's cycles coins, okay, guys? I'm moving them into the major narratives that I expect to do well, those being RWA, those being DeFi, those being, of course, AI, and many others, guys, okay? Now, please do not waste your alt season by keeping your coins in old coins that are not going to move up. Okay, and you're just going to do like a 2x, and you're going to be like, oh, sorry, babe, I can't get you the Chanel handbag anymore. No, I'm joking.
Sometimes your jokes hurt.
But still, you know what I mean? She'll be shopping at Shane. She won't be shopping at Chanel. But listen, guys, now seriously, altcoin season is coming. As you can see here, Base, in their report, they basically said that CoinMarketCap's altcoin season index currently sits in the low 40s, well below the 75 threshold by which they historically define alt season, even though the altcoin market cap has climbed over 50% since early July as of August 12th. So the altcoin season market cap has already grown 50%, but we're still well below the threshold. We think that current market conditions have started to signal a potential rotation into a full-scale alt season as we head into September. Now, do not forget that Rectember is potentially on the cards. I did put that on my last video. There has been, in the previous 2 cycles, a year after the halving, there has been a downward trend in September. But either way, even if that happens, guys, DCA in throughout August, throughout September. Do it for your bloodline, okay, guys? Do it for your kids, their kids, their kids, their kids, okay? Because this could be one of the last major alt cycles that we actually have, because this is going to be literally washed with institutional funding coming in like there's no tomorrow, buying into these digital asset treasury companies, all staking, restaking, looking for yield, borrowing, lending, and there's going to be a flood of institutional money into the market like we've never seen before. Do not miss out on this one, guys, and make sure that you're positioned correctly, because this is going to be a very, very big alt season. It could be coming in September. Now, next up, we're talking about NFTs, okay? Because NFTs are back, baby. They are back and they are popping, okay? Like, as you can see here, look at that, Moonbirds, number 7, one of my favorite numbers, actually up 356% in the last 30 days, okay? What an absolute tear Moonbirds has been on. Now, Moonbirds has been on an insane journey. They've gone from hero to zero, back to hero again. Okay, now there's a lot going on with Moonbirds. So let's start talking about Moonbirds a little bit and see what else is going on here. As you can see, as I told you, they went back from zero to hero. Its all-time high was $118,000, and they went all the way down to $3,650, okay? This is obviously a tweet here back in 2023, which was like peak bear market, of course, for NFTs. But since then, Moonbirds, was actually bought out by Bored Ape Yacht Club, by Yuga Labs, which people thought would be would actually change the trajectory of Moonbirds. But actually, to be honest, nothing much happened. And in the end, Yuga Labs actually sold it to Orange Cap, okay? Orange Cap, which is basically a VC firm that is run by a guy called Spencer. And now this Spencer guy is a very interesting guy. Now, lots of people, as you can see from Cointelegraph magazine here, are saying, can Spencer pull a Luca Netz? Now, why are they comparing this so-called Spencer guy to Luca Netz? Well, now there was this article by Cointelegraph magazine, which is basically talking about the Moonbirds surging, and they're comparing Spencer, who's the new owner of the Moonbirds IP, and they're saying, can he basically pull off a Luca Netz? Okay, so they're comparing the Pudgy Penguins CEO with the new Moonbirds CEO. Now, why are they comparing Luca Netz and Spencer? Well, I'll tell you. So as you can see here, Spencer got into NFTs when Bored Apes was like 2.8 ETH or so, but he actually ended up building this Orange Cap VC firm, and then actually bought up a lot of NFTs and become one of the most successful NFT trading firms in the entire space. Okay, so as you can see here, guys, during the 3 Arrows Capital liquidated stash, I thought I forgot about the 3 Arrows Capital, but there we go. We're still talking about it. During the tumultuous back half of 2022, they actually became the largest holder of Pudgy Penguins. Okay, guys, and during the FTX clap, this guy, Spencer, with his company, actually bought a really huge amount of Pudgies from 3 Arrows Capital and became a very, very big holder. Okay, now actually, he's actually spent a fair amount of time here with Luca Netz, obviously learning from him, and they actually built something for the Pudgy Penguins ecosystem. When I say they, I mean Spencer and Orange Cap Games, which I spoke about earlier. So they actually built this this project called Vibes, okay? And Vibes is basically a physical and digital trading card game built around the Pudgy Penguins IP. And in just 8 months, it did $1.5 million in sales, including partnerships with eBay, PSA, and CGC. This guy, Spencer, has a lot of experience flipping, trading, acquiring, even building a game in the NFT space. So he's got his fingers on the pulse, of course, of the NFT ecosystem. And of course, when he saw that Moonbirds was available, and let's be honest, like, it isn't just buying it from Yuga Labs. Like, Yuga Labs isn't going to sell Moonbirds to just anyone. A basically, classic NFT collection that has a history in the space. They believed in Spencer that he could take over and actually do a really good and cracking job for the IP. And actually, look what he's actually managed to achieve in just a short amount of time here. As you can see on this tweet here, 51 days since Orange Cap Games acquired Moonbirds, all these achievements that they actually made already. Been number 1 in volume in ETH NFTs on 5 different days. They got an airdrop from Towns XYZ, which was a really hype project. They also got a Burbs free Pokemon card from Fidgetals. They got $1.4 million sent into raffle to buy their TG stickers, and plenty more, guys. You can see it on there. They even raised a $3.5 million round led by 1KX Network, which is also a major investor in the Pudgy Penguins. It all sounds pretty bullish, don't you think, guys? Well, as you can see here, just a few weeks ago, in fact, just 2 days ago, Moonbird here was bought for 105 grand. Okay, now the floor price at the moment is 3.5 ETH, which is around $14,750. But still, people aren't just sweeping the floor. They're buying these rare Moonbirds, guys, because they believe that Spencer is actually onto something here. Okay, guys. And now one of the main reasons that Moonbirds is going to the moon, literally at the moment, is that there's a lot of speculation that they're going to drop a token. Okay, and of course, with recency bias, everyone's thinking about what happened with the Pengu token, and before that, of course, with the Bored Ape token, in which case lots and lots of people made a lot of money, especially the holders of those NFTs, okay? They got a huge amount of money, and the speculation is now coming into Moonbirds as well. And I'll tell you why, okay? So prior to acquiring Burbs, Spencer has spoken about saying the primary function on NFT collection should be to launch a token. So there's a link here. This was June 2024, so just over a year ago, saying, and Spencer himself said every NFT project must do a token at some point, or it becomes irrelevant, and it is a hill I'm willing to die on. Pudgy Penguins token time. This is from Spencer himself, and of course, this guy's spent time with Luca. He's been one of the largest holders of Pudgy Penguins, guys, and obviously he's seen from a very, very close distance how Luca and Pudgy have just taken over literally the whole mindshare narrative of crypto at the moment in time. And there's a lot of rumors that Moonbirds are about to follow that trajectory. Okay, now look, going further down here, you can see that the ape holders received around 300 grand in ape for NFT holders. That's 300 grand. Wow, more than $250,000, guys. They've got Pudgy Penguins here. They got $85,000 in Pengu for holding a big Pudgy, which again was huge. And of course, the floor for Pudgies went up to 38 ETH. The floor for Bored Apes went to 158 ETH. I think that's probably pushing it, guys. But you get my drift here, okay? This is what's causing the huge run so far in Moonbirds, guys. So obviously it's gone a lot. And by the way, I'm not telling you guys to pile into Moonbirds right now. Of course, it has gone up a lot in the last 30 days or so. And it depends on your risk appetite. If you're really bullish and you think that this is something that is definitely going to happen and you want to dive in by all means. But you should always be cautious when you're buying something that's been up that high that quickly. Now, having said that, Metaverse Man here seems to think minimum 10 to 20 ETH floor price. Of course, he has a Moonbird as his profile picture, guys, so take that with a pinch of salt. But he's not alone, okay? Because we also have Beeple. Now, Beeple, of course, is OG NFT artist, literally god tier, elite tier, hugely influential. And he actually posted here just a few days ago a Burbish lettering on one of his new art pieces, which is bullish, okay, guys? Because obviously he's got Pepe in here, Soul, punks, etc. But Burbish is a new term that basically Moonbirds ecosystem just say to each other, okay? And like he included that here, and also just today. He did another one where he did a Soul post just on Moonbirds as well. And as you can see, he's got nearly 1 million followers here, people. He's a very influential guy, very well respected in the space. As you can see, Burbs building back. So this is obviously a really pretty cool image here of, I guess it's a kind of like image where it shows Spencer's actually rebuilding Moonbirds to be this huge project. As I guess this is what Beeple's trying to show. Now, heading over to Jack over here. Now, he's saying, and it's true, he's confirming that Moonbirds will go live on Kaito today. Okay, guys? I think it's one of the first ever NFT projects to go live on Kaito. Now, of course, that's going to bring a whole lot of yappers, a whole lot of noise, and a whole lot of eyeballs onto the Moonbirds project. And that's literally just starting today, guys. Okay, so we are still early, I think, in this cycle for Moonbirds. Now, heading over here to Bobby Ong. Now, Bobby Ong is the CoinGecko co-founder and CEO. I've known Bobby. I've met Bobby in like 2018, guys, okay? Now, obviously, a CoinGecko CEO and co-founder has a lot of data and probably has a pretty good intuition about what's going up and what does well, don't you think? Yeah, I think so. Now, as you can see, he did this whole monologue, which I was quite surprised about, to be honest with you, about how he's really bullish on Moonbirds, okay? So he's saying that he's been shilling Moonbirds to his CoinGecko team in the office since it was 0.7 ETH after Spencer took over the project. Now, he told his team that his first price target was 2.5 ETH. Now, that's already flown by. Now, he's saying he's got a lot of faith in Spencer, okay? He goes on to say Spencer is the right leader to show Moonbirds the love it deserves after multiple failures from previous leadership. This is going to be one of the best community takeover NFT project on par with Pudgy Penguins. Spencer is the largest Pudgy Penguins NFT holder at one point. He spent a lot of time with Luca. In my opinion, Spencer will just run the same Pudgy playbook. He's starting from a very low base. Now, his next price target here is saying is 10 ETH. And we shall see how high this can go. Moonbird does not have a token yet, so once the team start teasing a token, this will go so much higher. Now, he's saying he doesn't have any inside info, but that is Bobby Ong, and as I said, somebody that is a co-founder and CEO, not just of CoinGecko, but also CoinGecko Terminal with unlimited data and APIs in his hands. That is a pretty bullish, recommendation, I think, from Bobby Ong. So look, guys, I'm looking at, of course, Moonbirds at the moment as a potential investment. Obviously, I don't really like to buy things that have mooned 350%, but they are on a bit of a dip today, just like the whole market. Of course, it's expensive. Of course, $14,700. Don't get me wrong. And look how far away. I mean, it's only just over 3x away from a Pudgy Penguin. So what do you think, guys? Are you bullish on Moonbirds? If you're bullish on Moonbirds, drop a comment below, smash the like button on the video, guys, and let me know what you guys think. I think that there's no doubt that Moonbird will drop a token. It's just a matter of when. The real question is is the token actually going to cover the cost and then give you profit of the Moonbirds NFT? That's, nobody knows that right now, okay? Because that all depends on tokenomics. That all depends on how much of the token will go to token holders. And of course, it also depends on, really, minute detail as to how much of the token is going to be on the market when it launches and various other, tokenomic stuff, guys, okay? So you need to be careful out there. But at the same time, you would think that the token would at least pay back the Moonbirds if it did even 25% as well as the Pudgy Penguin drop. All right, guys. So take with that what you will. If you could look at it that way, you could say, well, if you can afford it, not everyone can afford that, obviously, but if you can, you could say, well, worst comes to worst, I get the airdrop, and then it's basically a free NFT. But that's all speculation, guys, not financial advice. Nobody has confirmed the airdrop. We're just speculating based on what Spencer said before, and of course his relationship with Luca.
Happy dreams.
Alright guys, and finally on the video today, we can see here that Circle has minted another $1.25 billion of USDC onto Solana in 7 days. Okay, now this is why it matters. It matters because we've been talking a lot about ETH DeFi on this channel, about institutions from Bitmine, from Sharplink, and many others buying into ETH, and obviously they're going to want to restake and play in DeFi, but of course that also lends itself to Solana as well, guys. Okay, now as we can see here, Circle minted $1.25 billion of USDC, which is actually given it a 72.2% share of the stablecoin market on Solana, which is absolutely massive. And what's quite interesting is not just that, but Tether's share here has actually gone down by more than 11% over the last month, which is quite striking, obviously, because Tether is the main stablecoin that people use, but obviously not on Solana. Now, USDC did place a very early bet on Solana by allowing its native token to join Solana very, very early in its journey, and not just a wrapped version of that. But look, guys, what does that mean? Again, what we should be looking at DeFi protocols in any dip, especially in this market, guys, of institutions' money flowing into crypto. And would you look at that, guys? Chainlink is the standout Chad of today, guys. As you can see, 2% up today is pretty much the only DeFi project that is showing no chill and is refusing to be beaten. And of course, that is because of their new Chainlink reserve token, of course, now buying up all the new fees from on-chain and off-chain revenues and converting that into Link, and all the other bullish news that's been coming around Link, guys. It's one of my favorite plays at the moment of this cycle in terms of safety first investing. But if we actually see which coins have not done so well, guys, there's obviously huge discounts. I mentioned Hyperliquid earlier in the video, but of course Radium, of course, being one of the leading, some would say the leading DEX on Solana, is 9.5% down today, guys. That is a juicy discount, especially when you can see that much Circle being printed over there. And of course, Sol ETF's imminent. And now, of course, we also have Aerodrome Finance here as well, which has been doing very, very well, of course, with the integration of Aerodrome, of course, in the new Base app that basically got released to everybody in the US outside of New York, and basically allowed anyone to buy any DEX token on Base, all via Aerodrome. That's also sat here at a very, very juicy dip of 8.1%. So look, guys, these aren't just random projects going on sale here. These are projects that you probably wanted to buy last week that you didn't have an opportunity to buy. So do your thing, guys. If you have some spare capital and you are feeling like you want to invest in the market, you can't go wrong with these major DeFi protocols like Radium, like Chainlink, like Aerodrome, and of course like Hyperliquid, guys. That's where the majority of my portfolio is going in this cycle. Of course, I will leave some percentages over there for more degen plays. Now, I haven't mentioned it too much on the channel for this video. I haven't mentioned it at all, actually, about the abstract ecosystem. There are some very, very exciting plays in the abstract ecosystem, especially, of course, in memes and gaming. We're going to cover that in a future video, guys. I'm going to place my chips and then tell you exactly where I place them. All right, guys, that's all I've got time for today. Thank you so much for joining me once again for your daily dose of crypto. If you've been enjoying the content, smash that like button, hit the subscribe button, and put the bell notification on. Thank you, guys. I'll be back here again tomorrow.